Yeah, it was Morgana and Jax were the two banned in
Okay.
the chat.
And then Ari coming out from Sypher. Did they just switch sides?
Yes, I think Sypher didn't realize they were the higher seed
Oh,
and got to pick, so they just kind of launched from the sides they joined on.
alright, so that's not bad then. And then we're jumping into pretty good bans. All the heroes that have been banned so far are definitely ban worthy. Very, very strong. Ari, extremely strong mid laner. Hard to kill. Has great survivability. Has very good burst. And late game, she is just extremely powerful, especially combined with Rylai's Urgot. Super useful bot lane for the ganks. High damage, very tanky the bot lane. And then the Karth is banned against MoMA. Against Moopsie, I think. And then Nautilus for the jungler. And then Sypher decides to ban Kayle. I'm not very familiar with the Kayle ban, so Hawkeye, you'll have to fill me in with these.
That's a new one on me. Urgot we've seen a lot, Nautilus we've seen a lot, Ari is banned everywhere, just when you know somebody plays it well. But Kayle is a new one. I've not seen a Kayle ban in any of the matches I've done in this event.
Yeah, I think this is the first time I've ever seen Kayle banned. Ever.
Okay, so we're actually to first pick here, and the last ban was Kennen. That's also one we don't see a whole lot in North America, but not a bad ban. Kennen is a royal pain in the neck because he can play top and mid very, very well. Apparently, Kayle is a ban at a targeted ban against the top laner for Teamless.
Yeah, I've see all these special heroes that have been banned, Shen Jax, all these are heroes that I'd really like to see play because they're very unique and you rarely see any play with them. So having somebody that plays all those heroes would really be interesting. But I guess Teamless just doesn't want to have to deal with that, and the same goes for Sypher. So we're just not gonna see anything fancy coming out. Just a standard Shen pick.
Yeah, it's not something we're going to see a lot of. Like, when you have a champion who's not played a lot and you know someone specializes at him, if you're not really used to countering it, sometimes it's just worth banning because you don't want to end up in a situation. We saw it actually in the CLG EU game against Teamless. In Game 2, they decided not to ban Fizz, who is specialized by Tabs, who actually is being subbed today, but they chose not to ban Fizz because it's not a common ban and it was targeted. Well, Tabs took Fizz and I think got like 15 or 16 kills, and they rolled the second game. I mean, Teamless won in like 25 minutes. So sometimes that's a real risk when you know someone's great at a champion because your players aren't going to be used to countering that. How many people have really good counter Fizz mid strategies?
Yeah.
It's just not something we see a lot.
And right now what I'm doing is I'm basically comparing how the European players make their picks compared to North America, and after Shen, they're actually not prioritizing Nocturne. Right now in North America, Nocturne is considered the best pick right now. Everybody wants to first pick Nocturne no matter what. And AL actually chooses not to. They prefer to pick TF in Graves. TF is an acceptable first pick. TF extremely strong laner, has CC, has the ultimate, and a little bit of help of gold from the passive, but no Nocturne. They actually prefer to pick their AD carry, even though Kog'Maw, Corki, and every other AD carry is up over Nocturne. Now that's really shocking to me.
Yeah, it's surprising to me too. We actually haven't seen a whole lot of Nocturne here in EU. It's much more popular back in North America. Graves is one of the more controversial heroes here in Europe because we see it picked quite a lot, like by Teamless here and some of the other teams. But then we've also had players come out and say they don't understand why Graves is popular in North America, that he's not really played here, that people don't like him here, and yet we see him here as the third overall pick.
Yeah, and then a new Udyr pick coming out from AL. Now Udyr gonna be most likely in the jungle. Udyr Leona, so that's most likely a jungle Udyr, but they can opt to double him. So picking Udyr right now leaves Sypher thinking, okay, is that gonna be a top lane Udyr or a jungle? They just don't know right now because Teamless could just double it as any role that they want from either top or jungle, and Udyr is a very good pick against Shen, one of the few heroes that can actually lane against Shen, and if played correctly could actually beat Shen in lane, which is not something to scoff at.
And looks like
They're gonna go ahead and with these two picks. These are two very solid picks. So I think they're gonna settle with top lane Lee Sin, and I mean top lane Shen with jungle Lee Sin, and then Nivea mid. Nivea extremely strong hero, very hard to push against. And same goes for okay. So they're actually swapping out. They decided to go with jungle Shen instead, and top lane Yorick. So top lane Yorick, they just want to kite Udyr around as much as they can. Once Ezreal has red buff for Trinity Force, he should be able to keep Udyr at bay. Same goes for Anivia. And that is going to be a top lane Udyr. Or not. Wasn't Jax banned? I believe Jax was banned in the in-game chat.
I believe so. I'm messaging just to remind them of that.
Right, so they're just messing with our brains right now.
Yeah, Jackson Morgana were those first two bans. Possible Riven here. They had Mundo initially. And maybe we'll see your Nocturne anyways.
Yes, I'm happy to see
As
this.
an absolute last pick.
Yeah.
I would not have guessed that. Yesterday in North America, pretty much grabbed right away.
Every game.
Every game.
First pick is every game, Nocturne. Okay, so that's pretty unique. And yeah, that's most likely gonna be top lane Udyr, Nocturne in the jungle. Now, Nocturne's ultimate actually stops Shen's ultimate. If Nocturne's ultimate happens, Shen can't use his ultimate throughout the entire duration of Paranoia, which is his ultimate. So considered somewhat of a counter pick.
Now, I'm wondering if we either have a swap bug
Or
if we're
are
going to
we
see
gonna
a
be seeing a
laning
top lane
Nocturne.
Nocturne?
I mean, I guess we'll figure out here, because if it is a bug, they'll drop, they'll drop before it starts here. But we may be seeing a top lane Nocturne.
Okay, so Anguish really showing quite a unique player, actually, just playing everything that is not played.
Yeah, I'm interested to see this. I mean, they didn't drop out, so I'm guessing that was what they meant. They had plenty of time there. So, yeah, I'm really excited for this now. We don't really get to see Nocturne lane much, and by much I mean ever. So, this could be really, really good.
I really like both team compositions. I think they both have very, very solid heroes, but if it comes down to a non-diving 5-on-5 pushing tower strategy, I'm gonna give the edge to Sypher, just because they have a Nivea, and the Nivea can stop pushes much easier than Twisted Fate. Twisted Fate, of course, can do the same thing, but it's quite a bit harder as well. And Sypher actually has range over Teamless, because Ezreal has longer range than Graves, and so does Anivia, so they're going to be able to hit tower quite easily compared to Teamless. But again, it's going to be a stalemate in pushing, in my opinion, unless one team gets very, very far ahead. No one's going to really be able to push, so I'm thinking this game is going to revolve around objectives and fighting in the jungle areas, and that's going to be very, very fun to watch, because Anivia is one of the heroes that you don't want to fight in the jungle, just because of her AoE and the power that her wall does. Her crystallize just separates your entire team, and then if you don't have flash or a gap or an escape mechanism, you're gonna be caught out of guard.
Alrighty, well, I'm going to run a quick commercial and we will go right into game 1 here of Sypher versus Teamless. We have Sypher on blue team and Teamless on purple.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think I like Teamless's team. I like their team because they have the ability to pick off anybody, which is Twisted Fate and Nocturne. Those two can pick off anybody on the other team, just 2-on-1 him easily from and basically pop out of nowhere and kill him. And they also have Leona, Udyr, and Grace, which are very good for team fighting, bursting people down. And they got tons of CC, but they are not as tanky as Sypher.
Yeah, the only thing I find interesting is the Leona pick, because what that does, because Nocturne coming out of top lane has so much mobility, and so does MoMA coming out of mid, pretty much Leona can initiate, and there could end up being a 5-on-2 at bottom. Because if you have a jungler gank combined with Nocturne ulting in and Twisted Fate ulting in, they can literally have their entire team at bottom, and Leona can pretty much hold the enemies still while they come in.
Yeah, so this is top lane Nocturne. Let's see how this works out. I know a lot of people have high hopes for it, and they really love it. It's not bad, but we just haven't seen it been played to a competitive level yet. And I guess this is the time for Angus to show the world that Nocturne can go top lane.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how it works out. I mean, it'd be cool, because Nocturne is a very powerful champion, and if you could add him as a top laner, and not necessarily give away that it's a jungle, I mean, that's always great. And we're seeing that more and more, people trying to find multiple roles for champions, so they don't necessarily give away what they're taking when they take it first pick.
Nah, I like the Anivia pick from Sypher because Anivia kiting one of the worst enemies of Udyr, and then Anivia being able to keep Udyr at a distance whenever she wants, and then the game just starts right now, and then AL opens up with 4 boots, and then Leona, their support, going with a Fairy Charmer, 4 wards. Unlike Team Sypher, who actually chooses to go for 3 boots, and then Terra, instead of 2 wards, instead of 4 wards like Leona, goes for 2 green wards and a pink to counter a bottom ward from Leona.
Yeah, interesting. We've actually got all of Sypher up here. Tarek heading that way, but this could be problems for Nocturne. Oh, he caught him out of bush though. If they'd stayed in there, they probably could have gotten first blood.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Yeah, that I think they jumped the gun right there. And then note how down in the bushes, both teams warded the exact same place. So Sypher warded defensively, expecting an invade if they were going to the red buff, and then Teamless was sort of expecting a blue buff invade or a red buff start. So that will definitely map out the path that Shen's gonna make in the jungle. But Shen's starting with a cloth armor, which I don't necessarily agree with that, because Shen can jungle without it. And right now they went for this invade. They can easily kill somebody right here. They just taunt, and that's gonna be first blood.
Yeah, unfortunate MoMA getting caught there, and a very good taunt from Shen. Looks like they will take blue buff here. I don't think there's anything Teamless can do to stop them.
Very good play from Sypher, invading very late, because usually teams split up at that time, and now that's going to be a free blue buff for Shen.
Yeah,
Shen doesn't really need it though.
What's surprising is we didn't really see Udyr then try to go for the enemy blue. He kind of stuck around his own area really quick, which, I don't know, I don't really think it gained him anything.
Yeah, I think he wanted to go for the smite steal, because that's why Leona warded her own blue afterwards, but Shen just pulled the buff and managed to take it for himself. And right now, Udyr is actually going to go for the steal himself, trying to take their blue buff. And I think he's going to manage it. He clears that pretty quickly.
Yeah, he will probably be forced to burn his smite, but he should be able to take it. Problem is he took a lot of damage because he didn't have the leash there. Nocturne actually doing very well against Yorick up here.
Yeah, that's quite surprising. Yorick, one of the strongest laners in the game, and one of the most annoying to deal with, in my opinion. But I mean, even though it seems like Nocturne's doing a very good job right now, he is ahead in CS, but he's running out of mana very, very quickly. So as soon as he runs out of mana, Yorick can just capitalize on that and start playing very aggressive on him while Nocturne is forced to just retaliate with auto attacks.
Yeah, and Nocturne's big problem is going to be the health regen. He's able to do some damage to Yorick, but unless he can get a kill, once he's out of mana, Yorick's just going to use his regen ghoul to get all that health back.
Yeah, but I mean, Nocturne does have his passive for the regen, but he's not going to be able to sustain his mana like compared to the Yorick. Yorick has a higher mana regen value, so then he's going to be able to stay in lane much longer.
Yep, and actually doing a very good job CSing here.
Yeah, the gap closed from first, but actually it's gone down to about 100 gold, which is really surprising since first blood gives 400. So then this means that AL is doing exceptionally well in terms of CSing and out CSing Sypher. So one of the common things that I've heard about Sypher is that they usually have a trouble in the laning phase, but always have an exceptional team fighting.
Yeah, and everyone's got the the things they're really good at. Teamless does farm well. They were usually out farmed by CLG. Oh, good taunt there from Shen. But doesn't look like he's gonna have a Nivea there in time to follow it up.
Yeah, if Anivia would have been there just a bit sooner, that could have been an easy double bust for Anivia, which would have transitioned into her level 6, which would have been a complete nightmare for TF. And I'd like to point out that Ezreal is actually maxing Essence Flux, which is this little, arcane, wait, what's it called? Arcane Shift. He's actually maxing that. I've never seen that before. Usually every Ezreal maxes his Q or W.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the second point into Arcane Shift.
Yeah, he started with that as well. Starting with it, not a bad idea, especially because he was going for the initiate. But I mean, maxing it, this is going to be the first time I see that. Now Shen, being a single target jungler, is actually opting to go for a Magis before boots, so he's going to be jungling a bit quicker, but having much weaker ganks and very, very low mobility at this point. And the ganks coming, Shen's ghosting in, exhaust goes down. I don't think he can make this happen. He's going to have to go for Leona.
Good taunt there. Leona's not going to get out.
I think Leona could have definitely flashed to save herself. It didn't seem like Tarek had stun back up because he just used it.
The question is, would Tarek have had stun back up before she could get back to under tower? Because then it's just a wasted flash.
Well, it is a 13-second cooldown on stun, so I think she could have made it. Top lane, the CS is even. Yorick and Nocturne. I think the lane's going to start progressing to Yorick's favor. But in the end, Nocturne can just push the wave, shove the wave, and then go roam, which I think is going to be his goal. I'm trying to think of Nocturne top lane as somewhat of a Warwick top lane. Basically, every time you have ultimate, you want to make a play happen.
Right, and it'll be interesting to see if they're just going to try to go after mid, or if you're going to try to see them like transition to bottom with both Twisted Fate and Nocturne.
Yeah, I think if we get to see that, that's definitely going to happen when Dragon's up and then when Teamless decides to make a play for Dragon. But yeah, 2-0 in favor of Sypher. kills on Leona and Twisted Fate, and they're still only 400 gold ahead, even less, not 300 gold. So not doing the greatest job of CS wise, but nonetheless still ahead of Teamless.
Yeah, not by as much as you'd expect though.
And right now Udyr just bought his first gold for 5, so he's gonna be looking to get some gold income pretty soon without having to pay for it. And Teamless making a play for their blue buff. And Navia forced to flash. And I think that blue buff's gone with the Navia so low and without a flash. I don't think she is able to contest this. And they're gonna have to give this up, I think.
Yeah, the problem is it's just not worth having a Nivea get killed, or even to lose the egg on a Nivea.
Oh, she tried to go for the steal, but Smite's too powerful, and then his Fate just barely got it.
Yep, so that'll refresh his blue, and taking that away from a Nivea is huge.
Yeah, absolutely. Anivia, one of the most mana-hungry heroes in the game, absolutely needs it nearly every time. Sometimes if she's playing very aggressive, you want to give her a level 2 blue buff, but that's just sometimes. But Anivia, yeah, definitely one of the most mana-hungry champions in the game, and without blue buff, she really can't do much.
Stun out from Tarek there, so he'll get out just fine. And Teamless pushing onto this turret now.
On mid lane, a bit of aggression. Meanwhile, bottom, same aggression happening. Not much, just little exchanges between each other.
Yeah, we're having a lot of minor skirmishes, but since none of them are really being followed up with jungle ganks, I don't think any of them are going to result in deaths, unless someone makes a pretty serious mistake. Like getting double ulted. That would be one. And Leona goes down. Graves able to put out some damage, but not nearly enough. He's just going to have to back off for now.
Meanwhile, top lane, the Twisted Fate ganks combined with Nocturne managed to take down the behemoth that is Yorick.
And we're going to back up and see that again. So we did have Twisted Fate come in there, and it looks like Nocturne was just able to chase down at that point. So good job by them converting onto top. Go back to the live game.
So now the lead has been stretched to 600 gold in favor of Sypher. They're doing very well, and they've been doing a even job of CSing and playing against Twisted Fate. Nothing too bad, but actually rushing her first item was a Chalice of Harmony, trying to give her the mana back. The item seeing a rise in popularity. I feel like it's because people are trying to get a feel for the item because of the release of the new item, which is going to come out, I think, next patch, which is Athene's Chalice or something like that. Have you heard of this item?
I've not. I knew there was going to be something that built out of Chalice of Harmony, which is good because it's a good item, but just because it doesn't build into anything, it's pretty much unused.
I personally think it's a mediocre item, but with the new upgrade, it'll definitely become a viable pick. Meanwhile, Teamless actually going for a dragon while Sypher back. So as soon as Sypher back, they decide, alright guys, they're at base, this is a good time to do dragon. They're not even close. And they just managed to pick it up, and the lead goes in their favor now.
This could be a problem for Tarek if Leona's able to get the stun off. Here comes Twisted Fate and gets the stun. Leona stun as well. Tarek will probably go down here. Shen ulting in, but not able to make it before Tarek falls. Good job there from Teamless.
Yeah, no, that was a dragon and a kill, so very, very big. That puts them ahead in terms of gold now.
Oh wow, a lot of damage from Nocturne here. Anivia will probably fall. The egg is up. Oh, but Shen there to help. Will they be able to drop Anivia? And looks like it. And Shen gonna back out as well. Very good job there from Nocturne. A lot of damage went out. Shen just not able to provide enough help.
Yeah, they really just ignored Shen, focused on the target that was killing Anivia. And Shen's damage output this early against 2 bruisers is very, very low, so worrying about him hitting them, not a big deal.
Yorick gonna try to salvage something here by taking top turret, but MoMA coming in and Nocturne heading back up should take him out of the area to damage there.
Let's see in terms of CS right now. CS wise, mid lane Anivia is losing to Twisted Fate by quite a bit. 20 CS, and then bot lane is basically even. So in the jungle, Udyr is ahead and has 2 gold per 5s, unlike Shen, who only has 1. So having 1 gold per 5 is gonna not give him nearly as much gold as Udyr. Udyr being one of the quickest junglers in the game. He's gonna be pulling that gap, that gold difference between him and Shen, and he's gonna be putting that one up very quickly.
I'm just very impressed with this Nocturne top lane so far. It's really done a lot of work for Teamless.
It has. His ganks in every other lane have been working out very, very well, and I'm still not convinced though. I gotta say, I'm still not sold on why you would want him as a top laner over a jungler, so let's see if Anglish can pull some crazy moves right now.
And see, they'll know this is happening, but it doesn't matter. There's just nothing they can do.
Yeah, see what happened there was Leona actually came from bottom lane to support her team to take the blue buff. They want to take the blue buff control. They want to take it away from Anivia. You counter Anivia by taking her blue buff. But they did just that.
Wow, that damage, but it looks like Ezreal will probably go down as well. So not a bad trade there. They were able to take out Graves, but good reactions from MoMA to get in there on Twisted Fate and able to make it a 1-for-1 trade.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely worth it for Teamless to do that because they just managed to pick up the Ezreal who was on a 4-0 Rampage, so a 1-for-1 with a Rampage in their favor, that's going to be putting them almost even back into the game. After this tower, they should be about 1k behind only.
Yep, and the turret goes down there. We've got Udyr chasing onto Anivia, who's taking a lot of damage, but it's just nothing but harass.
So now the bottom lane is gone for Sypher, which means that now they really can't stay in there for too long. The same goes for Teamless. So now we're gonna see a lot more 5-on-5 action, or even then, if it's not 5-on-5, we're just gonna be seeing teams fighting with their supports, with their AD carries in places that they normally don't expect them.
Your team's turret has been destroyed.
Yep, so 2 turrets dropping here. Really great pressure from Teamless. They were not having a great early game. You know, they lost first blood. They were losing bottom lane. They've really turned it around here. And, you know, if it is true that Sypher is good at team fighting, we've also seen great team fight ability from Teamless, so I think this game is going to really end on a strong note here, with both teams kind of working in their area of expertise.
Couldn't agree more, and they're going to go for this dive on Yorick, and I think they can pull it off. But Shen ults in, the clone from Yorick goes out, the taunt goes in, are they going to get Leona? She flashes away. Can they get Udyr? I think he has flash, he does. Flashes away as well. Oh, Nocturne ultimate. Grace flashes away. Actually, that was Yorick. No, my bad.
So they aren't able to pick up any kills top, but both teams pretty much able to do a ton of damage and scare each other off. The downside is bottom is being pushed pretty hard by Sypher at this point.
Yeah, that's the correct decision by them. And they're gonna be bursting down Ezreal right now. Graves. Forcing the flash, so now what happened there is both teams used a lot of summoner spells in and got no kills out of it, and dragons are going to be spawning back pretty soon, which means this next fight is going to be completely dependent on how well every member of both teams can position themselves, because they don't have a get out of jail free card with a summoner spell. They have to be spot on with how they position themselves engaging into this fight, or else they're going to be picked off and killed immediately.
yet. I'm really interested to see how this ends up going, because you have a little bit more speed and mobility on Teamless, but not a ton. Good flash there by Nivea, but so much stun coming out. Ezreal trying to put some damage up, defend the egg, but it's not going to work. Moves, falls. We've got Moma chasing on. We've got Udyr chasing on. This could be bad, though. Most of Sypher has made it there. Udyr will fall. Huge Q there from Moma, damaging pretty much everyone on the team, but both teams are going to back out at this point. Just too much damage going out there for anyone to be comfortable staying in the fight. And that ends up being a 1-for-1 trade in what looked like a really good initiate from Teamless. But if they're able to take Dragon, they should make up for it here. This should really go in the favor of Teamless once Dragon falls.
Yeah, and top lane Nocturne doing very, very well. Already picked up himself a Regal's Mercury Treads and the Wit's End. Will most likely be building a Phage next, so that's going to be keeping him alive a bit longer, as well as offering the utility that Phage does, which is primarily the main goal of getting a Phage.
Yep, and it should help him out here. The slows you'll be able to put down. But, wow, this Nocturne top, I'm still just amazed at how well this worked out. Almost 30 farm ahead of Yorick at this point. You just don't really see that. Yorick's a great laner. In a little bit of trouble here, though, with both Shen and Yorick on him. Actually able to shield the taunt there. So that helped out a lot.
Yeah, and the game's sitting at an even 5-on-5 in terms of creep score, but even then, the 5-on-5 is transitioning into a goal difference from Sypher. I mean, Teamless. And that's just coming from Dragon Control, Buff Control, and creep score, so...
Yeah, we actually see Anivia picking up her first blue at this point. It's really not gone well. Teamless has had incredible control on both of the enemy buffs, but good job there, finally able to get Anivia blue. That should help Anivia a lot in these coming fights. Just such a mana-dependent champion. And they are pushing on the top turret here. I don't think Yorick has enough damage to do a whole lot about it. With Shen coming in, now this would be a problem with Shen and Ezreal there. Udyr's in trouble, will fall here with the ult from Ezreal, and Nocturne just going to get out of there. But Anivia also falling in the jungle, so Teamless, again, pretty much not giving anything up for free. They've been able to turn every single fight into some sort of advantage, or at least a 1-for-1.
Huh?
Let's see. And so we've got Sypher going through their jungle here, trying to get some of these buffs, but they'll probably lose top turret to Nocturne here.
Yeah, and Yorick's going to be forced to defend that tower right now. He's going back for it.
He's not going to make it in time, though. Too much damage from Nocturne. He's a little low on mana, so I don't know if he's going to want to fight this or not.
He's going to have to back, and Yorick could chase this, but he chooses not to. And I think he could have definitely gone for it because Nocturne's out of mana.
Yep, and the Twisted Fate was nearby, so if you saw him coming in with a ward, probably a good idea to get out of there.
Yeah, Twisted Fate, really a hero that you don't want to... You always want to assume that he has ultimate up at all times, because that's really the safest way to play. You always want to assume the worst. Same goes for Shen, ultimate, Soraka, ultimate, everything else.
And huge fight going on here at mid. Ezreal ult only hitting Leona. Wow, and a good save there. That would have been bad if Taric had been able to stun Graves at that point.
And no kills happen once more. So many battles have happened.
Oh, wow.
Whoa. Will red buff get him? No, he life steals.
But Moma in trouble
down.
here. So Moma does end up falling. It was a good job to try to get in there and save Graves. And it did work, but everybody else just kind of collapsed right on top of Moma at that point.
I think that was too greedy. Graves could have definitely... Graves was already lived on his own because he was life stealing off race. So having gone back just to land the wild card, the gold card, cost him his life as well as giving a spree away.
A Good stun there from Udyr trying to get out of here. Ezreal really good at chasing, but going to give up at this point with the minion wave there. And over at mid, we have Yorick. Gets feared, but with Anivia there as well, this could be bad for Nocturnes. A lot of damage going out. The slow lands as well. Flash over the wall by Nocturne. They're still going to chase onto this, but I don't think they'll be able to catch at this point. Yeah, Nocturne going to use his Q to get away.
Yeah, Dustbringer definitely offers a very significant movement speed boost that makes him very hard to chase, and it also doubles as a very strong chasing mechanism.
Wow, and now a lot of damage on the Yorick. He's going to use his ult, but not really going to matter here. Moma should be able to get out of here.
Very, very good triple gank on top lane on Yorick. Make sure to keep Yorick down, and what I like most about it is that as soon as Nocturne got away and disappeared, as soon as he knew he was not being watched, he immediately ulted Yorick, and they just killed him ASAP, just taking every chance they get, making sure that Sypher does not overextend. Basically letting them know, if you overextend, you're gonna get hit by 2 globals, and if you get hit by 2 globals, no matter who you are, you're gonna die.
Yeah, and that's one of the advantages of Teamless's comp at this point. They can bring Twisted Fate or Nocturne into fights very, very quickly. And they've been showing it all game. They've pretty much been able to turn every single fight, even when they're outnumbered, into something. They'll hit you somewhere else on the map with the global ults.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. Globals being such a powerful mechanism in League of Legends. They've been nerfed multiple times over again, and I guess by now Shen is considered the only global as Soraka Karthus.
Yeah, I think Shen, Soraka, Karthus would be considered globals at this point.
Oh,
By now,
my bad. No, go ahead.
A lot of damage on the moment here, though. That ult from Ezreal could end it here. The stun going out, yeah. Good job by Ezreal to follow up there and get the kill. Yorick could be in a little bit of trouble here, though. Graves jumps over the wall. The ult lands, but not for a whole ton of damage.
Moma's been taking quite a bit of punishment on Twisted Fate, being the first primary focus from Sypher, and there's really not much he can do about it at this point. Before, yes, but out of laning phase now that he's being CC'd so hard, there's really nothing that he can do as Ari besides having rushed a QSS or going for an Abyssal, or just simply not getting caught, which seems to be a problem somehow, but it's just been happening very, very often.
Yeah, he's pretty much been the first in on a bunch of fights, and they're trying to position correctly to get the gold card off, but the rest of the team has been so far behind him that there's too much damage going out. Nocturne going to try to... good ult from Shen. Basically, Nocturne unable to finish off Ezreal once the Shen shield was up. And Udyr, I don't know why he's stunning Yorick there, but they're going in at Baron right now. I don't know that Teamless is going to be able to stop them. And they do take down a turret for it, but they're going to lose Baron here. Oh my gosh, the steal with the card! That was amazing. Moma just made up for any positioning errors he's made in this game. Stole Baron with the Q. That was incredible. And now they're pushing an inhibitor as well with Graves. Wow, that is a huge mistake from Sypher. They should have had a smite there or some way to take it out. That was an amazing steal. They don't end up losing the inhibitor turret for it, but it is very badly damaged. Just wow.
Moma just single-handedly saved the game.
And huge damage coming out here. Great job by Leona getting the ult off. Moma gonna fall. Wow, that was a lot of damage there. Triple kill from Udyr. I thought that was going to be a horrible initiate when he first went in, but the global ults made up for it. Wow, that was just an impressive play from Teamless there. They should be able to push at least one, if not two, inhibitors here. Impressive, impressive play. Yep, and they'll finish this turret off and probably take down the inhibitor. Nocturne will push at least one more turret, maybe two. And that's just a hard one to explain as a jungler when you miss that smite and a Twisted Fate Q steals Baron.
And now, every summoner spell for both sides seems to be down. So then again, they don't. Neither team has a get out of jail free card, which is basically the flash that goes to exhaust type of summoners, and then not having those is really gonna make a fight.
Leona does fall, but so does Yorick, so it pretty much ends up even. They do get the Baron buff off of Leona, but not the end of the world here, as another turret is going to fall. Udyr taking a lot of damage, though. He was trapped by a great wall by Anivia. Turtle stands up, though, going to run away with bear form. Don't know why everybody's staying here at top lane to fight. Oh, Udyr has turned back into the fight. That is a lot of damage. Udyr in real trouble.
Yeah,
Wow,
I have
very lucky.
That does not last long.
Team completely saved him there. Oh my gosh, and still manages to get out. Just over 100 health. Wow. That was very lucky for Udyr. I cannot believe he got out of that fight.
Yeah, he's really doing an exceptional job of staying alive and seeing the enemy team only through his ultimate.
This is incredible. Just the amount of things Teamless have done here in the last few minutes. They've been able to push almost every lane, almost every tower with constant action going on. They keep barely getting out of these fights. This has just been incredible. Since that Baron steal, they've gone in and taken out a huge chunk of the base.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you want to do when you have Baron and all these leads that are so powerful. Taking control of the buffs and the camps in the jungler really puts down the other enemy jungler and basically forces him to look for farm elsewhere. And when she does, we already know what happened.
Yeah, not working out well for him. Wow, I still can't believe that that Baron was stolen with that TFQ. That was amazing. We should be seeing another fight here as teams are getting back into the fight after going back and buying items. A lot of the base destroyed for Sypher. They're in real trouble here. They need to win a team fight. They need some way to push down some of these turrets. Turret difference is 8-1. Gold difference is now at 16k. This really transitioned. I mean, this went badly for them and went badly quickly. It's one of those games where they look back on and just wonder where everything went wrong. And you can look at that Baron and just say that missed smite pretty much did it.
Yeah, it definitely did, but I mean, smite being you can't completely blame the jungler for smite.
Well, no, the team should have done a better job defending. I mean, there's plenty of blame to go around when a Baron's stolen. Nocturne jumping in. They're going to try to finish it here with this team fight, but Shen finally dropping. Nobody else going to fall, though. Anivia in trouble, might go down here. The egg is up. They're going to have to take down the egg as well. Here comes Moma trying to get some damage off. Anivia does fall. Ezreal falls. Wow, and there goes everybody. That is the ace. This should be game 1-2 Teamless. Very good game here. And they will down the Nexus, and that will be the end of game 1.
Yeah, so definitely excited to see a game. I really want to see a game 3, honestly. I don't want to see Teamless go for a 2-0 win. I really want to see the most amount of games we can get from the EU server, because I really like their playstyle and how they pick is just so. It's not completely night and day compared to North American server, but it's just so unique. It's very fun watching how every single basically region, Asia, North America, and Europe, values their heroes accordingly. And in big tournaments, that's when they clash together, and that's when the real fun happens.